Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Jerich Show. I'm Javad Malik, and do we have Eric Crone with us this week? Well, that's an interesting question because it's yes and no, but it is Black Hat Week, and we have got some really good updates for you. So let's just kick off with the.
Welcome to the Jerich Show, featuring your hosts Javad Malik and Eric Crone. Timely topics, poorly presented.
And before the whole Rona kicked off, this week was major week in security. You'd have Black Hat and then DEF CON taking place in Las Vegas. You'd have B-Sides Vegas taking place, by far the superior of the three events, and not to mention the more affordable. But it was always a good time. And this year I'm not there, but we still know a lot of people are going. It's nowhere near the numbers that normally go, but there are people going. So we were curious to find out what exactly is going on, what's the buzz, and what have you. Now, I live in London, flying across international borders and then maybe being denied entry because of the Rona, although I'm always at risk of being denied entry anyway. And then having to come back and isolate wasn't an ideal scenario. But we did find the most expendable person we could think of, because if you're going to go to a super spreader event, get infected with the Rona, the Delta variant, what have you, and die within 3 days, you don't want anyone too valuable to go. So we sent off our intrepid, expendable roving reporter. Over to you.
Hey, what's going on? It's a wrap up for the first day of Black Hat 2021 here. I'm Eric Crone, obviously missing my partner Javad. I guess he's just hanging out in London having a good old time. In the meantime, I'm here risking my life due to COVID to bring you this information. That's how much I care. So today was an interesting time. If you've ever been to Black Hat before, it is usually packed full of people, especially on the first day. It's insane on the show floor while everybody is out there trying to get all the swag they can get. And this year was different. There's so many people not here. It's pretty amazing, actually, and lots of vendors not here, lots of empty floor space, and a lot of them pulled out at the last minute, and I totally understand that. For an organization, how are you going to get people to want to work in the midst of this kind of stuff? I get it, totally. But, you know, the theme this year seems to be, you're all alone. So this year, they didn't even bother doing carpet on the floor, which I think is pretty funny. When we were there last night for the setup, we saw that there was no carpet down. I thought for sure they were going to bring in carpet later. They didn't do that. But, hey, who knows? The good news is they have giant battleship. They have tricycles which you can race on. I mean, come on now, how much fun is that? They have a ridiculously big foosball table made for several people, which I think kind of defies the whole idea behind social distancing. But they have ping pong, they have a giant Tetris, they have all kinds of pretty cool stuff going on to keep people going out there on the floor. Now, the truth is, people don't necessarily come to Black Hat so they can sit out on the floor. We come here to see people that we know and hopefully to avoid Javad. In this case, it's no different. Although the people that I know were far fewer and in between here, I did get to see some people that I haven't seen in a couple of years. Yay for that.
And it's great to run into people here at Black Hat.
The next thing we got to understand is we come here for the sessions. That's the other reason we come here. The information is great, and I gotta be honest with you, I love what they did this year. They did this thing this year where they are virtually simulcasting, basically, the live stuff. So I actually caught the keynote and another session right here in my hotel room, which was kind of nice, because I wasn't sure how that was gonna play out as far as people being close together. It turns out it's kind of nice. Apparently they have people spaced out. Yay, team. But it's awesome that we can sit back here and watch these things live on our laptops in our room, though, without having to be in the midst of all that. Now, I got to tell you, I thought for sure this year a big theme was going to be ransomware, and it is not. I don't know why. I mean, it's not like it's not happening. It's not like it hasn't been happening. But ultimately, I don't see a bunch of stuff going, we stop ransomware. Not even a little bit. I've seen a couple of zero trust things, but I gotta wonder if this is just a case of people bringing their old booths back or something, and they didn't really specifically do it for this time. I know some places this was kind of a last minute thing, going, should we do it? Should we not do it? We'll throw it out there. But I am super surprised not to see more ransomware stuff. I haven't even seen a lot of supply chain specific stuff. I just don't even know about this black hat. What we do have here is we have a couple of big vendors that were in the place. I got to tell you, Sentinel-1 has this beautiful tree thing that's all lit up. It is beautiful. It truly is beautiful. On the floor, there's a bunch of LED panels, so there's stuff going on there too. Absolutely gorgeous. Like the biggest thing around. That and CrowdStrike. So CrowdStrike has their giant, whatever they are. I don't even know. It's like it's supposed to be like APTs over there, and it's pretty cool, like the way they put it together. And they are absolutely huge. They're giving away action figures, which I haven't gotten any of yet. I really haven't done much swag chasing here. That's not like me. But that's another one of the big ones. But other than that, honestly, there's a lot of smaller booths, a lot of people I haven't heard of before or have heard of in passing for the most part. All things said and done, though, it's been an interesting experience. It'll be even more interesting to see how things work tomorrow and at DEF CON later on this week. So, out from the road, risking my life to bring this to you while Javad, you sit at home. This is my report for today.
Great if Eric could learn how to turn off the camera without stumbling. And hold on. Oh, what's this? We have Eric joining us, currently alive from Black Hat 2021. Thanks for that report.
Yeah, I see what you did there in the end, and good job editing that. Well done, my friend, I suppose. No, it's been interesting here. I'm day 2 right now, getting ready to head out from. I love that you changed my tag. Nice. Getting ready to head out on the floor here in a little bit. I got some interviews to do and some people to talk to. Got to go pick up my DEF CON badge. So there's plenty to do today. It is interesting, though, like I said in there, that I'm not seeing a whole lot of ransomware focused stuff. I'm just not seeing what I expected to see. But then again, you can walk the whole expo floor in like 20 minutes. So
wow,
whatever. Yeah, it's not like usual. But, the people that are here, it's a lot of fun. The tricycle racing was hilarious. That was one of my buddies from the Army days, actually, who was on the tricycle there. So, we do get to see people here, some people. I'm looking forward to trying to hunt down Trisha. Now that she's here, one of our previous guests. Awesome people. So anyways, that's where we are right now with this. I'm going to go out today again and risk my life for you. Excellent. So you know what's going on.
Yes, we will remember that. He, on your tombstone, he died. Bringing you the latest and greatest from Black Hat. What I found really interesting is you said that they're streaming the talks so that you can sit and listen to them in your hotel room. So if there's hardly anyone on the floor, there's no carpet, and they're streaming talks, you could have just sat in your garage at home and enjoyed the no carpet streaming experience.
That's very true. But I got to tell you, statistically speaking, I'm safer leaving Florida and coming here than staying in Florida. So just saying, with the way that the coronavirus is exploding here, with Florida being a hot spot, I'm actually probably safer here. But no, that is true. And I guess they're going to be available for like 30 days online, so you can go back and review them later on. So you don't have to try to catch everything all at once. But they've done pretty well. And from what I've seen, technically, it's all worked very well, which is kind of a rarity sometimes for some of these streamed conferences.
No, absolutely. There's always some glitches and what have you. But anyway, good to hear. So now we're on to the regular portion of our show, and before we get onto the regular portion of the show, a quick reminder that you can subscribe to us on YouTube, where if you're watching us there, just search for the Jerich Show, or you can go and download us on your favorite podcast app, whether that be iTunes or some Android malarkey. And What else is there?
Did you say
Uh,
malarkey? Nobody uses
yeah,
malarkey anymore.
no. Or you can follow us on Twitter, um, me and Eric individually, or at the Jerich Show. So, report over 63 million US citizens exposed in massive data leak. What's this all about, Eric?
Yeah, this is an interesting story that was a little confusing the way this one was written up. They say 63 million citizens exposed, but then when you look through the story, they keep talking about 126, and it took me a minute to figure out just what it was they were talking about. And they don't know exactly due to duplicates, potential duplicates. So they're cutting it in half, saying everything's duplicated. But this is a huge amount of data that was found on a website for a company that is a startup. It's about a year and change old, but their website isn't completed. You can't even like connect with them through the website. They list no customers at all, and yet they have 63 million records from people. So the question is, where did this come from? You know, where did this data come from? And of course, we have somebody that didn't secure it. What a big shocker, right? We've never seen unsecure stuff in the cloud, but it's just an interesting whole thing here that I'm having a hard time trying to figure out exactly what happened, where they got the data. There's some theories that it's a copy of some other data from another breach. How are they going to use it? You know, they're supposed to be like a marketing firm, I think, or a lead source firm. You know, like you get all those emails that say, "Hey, we've got all the leads from XYZ."
Yes,
I always feel like they're the car dealers of, you know.
I know.
Just,
You get those emails, and Chris Wysopal, I believe he tweeted something out about that the other day. He said, I get all these emails like, we have got all the customer lists from so and so companies, and he always turns around and said, oh, can you give me the list of customers for Veracode? And they inevitably never get back to him because he's the CTO at, I believe, CTO at Veracode, or co-founder. And but yeah, it's sounds like it's one of those dodgy companies. It's absolutely despicable behavior.
yeah, there's definitely something going on there. And, you know, it's some
Yeah.
PII, which of course, you know, it's not like credit card numbers. It's not like that. And a lot of people downplay that. But this many people, I mean, this is a gold mine. Look at some of the stuff that's on here. This is a gold mine for social engineers and scammers and folks like that. I mean, this is great information on people if you want to set up scams. So there's definitely value to the information, even though it doesn't have credit cards and socials and stuff like that. But it's a lot of it.
No, this is a lot of data, and just seeing like if you have someone's home address and phone number, their personal email address, their work email address, and their work employer, that could set up so many things, especially with people working remotely. You could say, hey, I'm your boss, or I'm your new boss, or I'm someone from HR, or whatever, and you know, it opens up the door for so many things. It's quite frightening, and this is the problem. Like you said, people downplay this kind of information because it's not credit card information, but credit card is probably the best. If you want to have a leak, have your credit card information leak, because there's processes in place. You phone them up and they will cancel it for you there and then, and they will issue you with a new card. It's as simple as that. But you know, good luck changing your personal email address or your name or your job title. It's all over
Yeah,
the place.
the credit cards are just so quick anymore. And it's just the cost of doing business as far as they're concerned. I mean, the process is so quick. You're just like, wasn't me. Okay, cool. You're not responsible. Awesome. We'll send you a new card. Thanks. And then boom, something shows up a couple days later and you know, you continue on. It's amazing to me how often that does happen. I mean, I've had my company credit card hit a couple of times actually. You know, when I'm on the road or whatever, I'll suddenly get something that says, hey, there's a charge here for one of them was gas pumps in like New York somewhere. So basically what they did is they took the number and they just started filling up cars with gas.
Wow.
And, you know, it was real easy. Yep. Nope. Wasn't me. Okay, cool. Thanks. And then boom, I get a card, you know, in the mail in a couple of days. But
Wasn't there a time when your card got cancelled while you were on an Uber and then you couldn't pay the fare because that was linked to your Uber account?
Yes. That was actually that time they locked the card while I was in the Uber from the airport. Went to pay, and it's like, yeah, no, that's not working. So I had to clear all that out, use another credit card. But it is inconvenient, no doubt about it. But you know, fortunately, we have alternate ways of payment.
Yes, yes. Speaking of Black Hat, you're there. I know you haven't listened to all the talks, but Black Hat's always great because you get all these cool little hacks and research projects that go out there, which they're always fun. They're so intriguing. It just I love I love unpicking some of these, and you see how someone's mind works. It's like someone there's something there. It works perfectly fine, but then you've got a hacker who says, now, what if we done this, and this to it? And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, we can cause World War IV or 3 or whatever number we're on, the sequel. There are these smart hotel rooms. I think they're the little pods that you sometimes find in places like airports or whatever you. They're just like meant for the wary traveler to rest his head or her head for a few hours, and you can just do it through the app. And they found vulnerabilities in it. Ghost hacking a capsule hotel, ghost in the bedrooms, which
Clever, very clever. Looking at that picture, that's more space than I had in my Navy career, in my bunks in the Navy. So I'm like, that's extravagant. There's like a plush pillow there. It's interesting though. I hadn't seen this. I think I've seen some things in the airports before where there's like places to rest or whatever, but I've never gone into them. They were fairly expensive, and I'm cheap. So, but it's interesting. You're right. So you use the word hacker. And some people take issue with the word hacker when it's applied to cyber criminals. And in this case, I think the way that you used it was actually okay. These are people that took something and they made it do something it's not supposed to do. That's really kind of the definition of hackers. And as long as they're not exploiting it for, criminal means, that doesn't mean they're bad people, because this is how you figure out stuff before the bad people start doing bad things with it, right? And so it's fascinating. You're right, though, the thought process of, hey, there's this thing, and what can I do with this thing? And you start picking away at it. I've done little projects like that on my own with like car remotes, picking up the signal for a car remote or trying to relay that signal. And it turns out that's a real attack that they're using out there right now. Is they'll basically take your keys sitting inside, and when you get close to a car, it'll unlock and it'll do all that kind of stuff with the key in your pocket. So what they do is they actually pick up the weak signal and then retransmit it at a higher power closer to the car, and boom, it's like you had the key in your pocket, and they get in and drive away with the car. That's a pretty interesting thing to me, but these are the kinds of things that it takes some very smart people to figure out how to do some of this stuff. So brilliant. This time they're attacking single-use beds, though.
Yeah. Well, what it is, it's more than that. What it's effectively, these are small contained smart homes. So everything's controlled from an iPad or an iPod or something that they're given. And what they found is that, like we've spoken about many times before, any internet connected thing is not necessarily secure. And then, they found out that they're using the WEP protocol, and you can easily get into the admin features of the iPad that's been given to you. And
did you say they're using WEP? Like WEP?
Yes.
Like the stuff that we're not supposed to use for years now, right?
Yeah. The stuff that's
crackable about 12 and a half seconds.
Anyway, yeah. So it's an interesting thing, because it's not just a single failure, it's just like a whole process. But I loved it. I thought it was a great one. I'll keep on scouring the talks and reading up headlines like this throughout the week without putting myself at danger by going to a super spreader event. So,
and we'll have the link to all these stories down there in the comments here, in the description for this.
Yep. And finally, you did complain about you didn't complain, you observed the lack of ransomware being mentioned as a theme. So I found this. The Isle of Wight is a small island just off England, the south of England, like in the English Channel, probably. My geography is not great, but you can drive down to Southampton or Portsmouth, and you get on a ferry. It takes like 45 minutes. You're on the island. You can go around the entire island in about 2 hours something. It's a lovely place just to go for a weekend or something. And they have some schools there that were all hit by a ransomware attack. So they're worried that maybe the good thing is it's the summer holidays at the moment, so they have got a bit of time to recover before kids are due back in school. But
I guess my question is, when does your summer holiday end? Because for my family, it starts next week. Okay, so this is typical. A lot of times we don't even think about this, but these attackers will time things to be at a very vulnerable time. It's going to be important to get kids back in school. And if they are shut down and can't get back in school, that's a bad thing for the schools, right? And they know that a lot of times they do this around holidays sometimes. So they know that the staffing is going to be short. People are going to be away. The response time is going to be slow. There's actually timing that happens in a lot of these ransomware attacks. It may not be in this case, but I've seen it over and over again where they time it to be where the least amount of people can respond in the slowest amount of time with the most negative impacts. If you say, oh, we can't start school this week, you have parents that have planned to have their kids that are out of daycare and their regular stuff, and now they got to figure out what to do with that while they go to their job. I mean, there's a lot of pressure that ends up coming from canceling the first couple of days of school. So it's interesting, but unfortunate, yet again, educational institution targeted by ransomware.
Yeah. We open in the first week of September, by the way.
Oh, okay. All right. So there's still some time for
we have about a month. But that was your ransomware fix, and that was the stories that we decided to bring you. I'm surprised. I do say it's very impressive. You're so awake. It's very early there. What time is it there now?
It is currently 8:16 a.m.
Okay.
And I was up till late last night.
You are in Vegas.
Well, whenever you're at these conferences, you know how it is, Javad. It's like you wake up, you hit the floor, and it's just one thing after another, like all day long. Finally, you get back, and you're just kind of like, oh crap, and it's late. It's part of the fun of conferences. You end up leaving the conferences just half exhausted. But there's so much to learn and so much to do. You just don't want to miss everything that's going on.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, we were just talking before we hit record. The last conference I was at was last year's RSA 2020, just before everything just cut down. And by that, even at that point, I was like, oh, I think it's just a regional thing, just restricted to certain parts of the world. No way it's going to hit Europe or Great Britain, but here we are. But yeah, it's one of those things. Conferences are just an exhausting period of time. I mean, for me, it's just always, like for the first half, I'm just jet lagged, and then I'm just tired. But it's always a rewarding experience, especially when everyone's there and things are a bit more normalish. Then you get to catch up with people, and that hallway con and having those conversations. You learn so much. But
and this show stemmed from that RSA, from our daily recap that we did every day at RSA. At the end of the day, exhausted out of our minds, we went back to my hotel room with the lights pulled all around. Remember, we just like tried to make the lighting halfway decent. We were moving couches. There was a mystery stain on the couch that we had a towel over, and we were like fighting over who had to sit on that side. I mean, all this stuff. And then here it is. It's like midnight, and we're recording and posting this stuff in the middle of the night. But we had so much fun doing it. That's what generated this show. So yeah, some reminiscing there. Now we're on episode, I think 57, which is amazing.
Wow. Okay. Well, as I've been saying to you in messages, don't die. Because will you be recording some stuff today, and tomorrow we'll give another quick recap? It won't be the entire show, but we can post a recap from tomorrow about which will be your later today. Just upload the videos and I'll put it there.
Okay.
But don't die. Yeah.
I'm going to try not to.
Okay. He said he's going to try not to die. That's great. So sending you much love and good security vibes wherever you are, except Eric, because he made the decision to go to a super spreader event. Until then,